Genghis Khan, originally named Temujin, was born in 1162 near the Onan River in modern-day Mongolia. His early years were marked by hardship and adversity, shaping the formidable leader he would later become. Temujin's father, Yasujii, was a tribal chieftain of the Borjigin clan, which gave the family a degree of influence, but their hold on power was fragile. Yasujii's ambition for his son became apparent when he arranged Temujin's betrothal to Borte, a girl from a neighboring tribe, at a young age. This alliance was intended to secure political ties that would strengthen their clan's position. However, Temujin's life took a dramatic turn when his father was poisoned by rivals from the Tatar tribe. This event left the young boy, barely 9 years old, at the head of a vulnerable family. Without Yasujii's leadership, the Borjigin clan abandoned Temujin's family, leaving them to fend for themselves in the harsh Mongolian steppe. The betrayal of his father's allies instilled in Temujin a deep understanding of the precariousness of loyalty and the importance of strength in leadership. The following years were marked by extreme poverty. Temujin, his mother Holun, and his siblings survived by foraging for food and hunting small game. Holun's resilience as a mother and leader played a pivotal role in keeping the family alive. She instilled in her children a fierce determination and a sense of resourcefulness, qualities that would later define Temujin's character. Temujin's early experiences with betrayal were not confined to his father's death. He himself faced treachery from within his family. His half-brother, Begtur, sought to assert dominance over the family after Yasujii's death. This tension culminated in Temujin and his younger brother Kasar killing Begtur to protect their mother and ensure their own survival. Though this act was controversial, it demonstrated Temujin's resolve to take decisive action in the face of threats. Despite the hardships, Temujin's charisma and leadership potential began to emerge during his teenage years. He started to form alliances with other young men who shared his vision of unity and strength. One of the most significant early bonds he formed was with Jamukha, a childhood friend who would later become both an ally and a bitter rival. Together, they dreamed of uniting the fractured tribes of the Mongolian steppe. At the age of 16, Temujin solidified an alliance with the Ongjirat tribe by marrying Borte, the woman he had been betrothed to as a child. Borte's influence on Temujin was profound. She became not only his wife, but also a trusted advisor and a source of stability. Shortly after their marriage, Borte was kidnapped by the Merkit tribe, an event that tested Temujin's emerging leadership. With the help of allies, including Togrul, the leader of the Karite tribe, Temujin launched a successful rescue mission, demonstrating his growing military acumen and ability to rally support. This victory over the Merkits marked a turning point in Temujin's life. It was not merely a personal triumph, but also a statement of his ability to challenge larger, more established forces. The rescue of Borte earned him respect among his peers and set the stage for his broader ambitions. Temujin began to envision a unified Mongol nation, free from the constant cycles of betrayal and tribal warfare that had characterized his early life. Another defining moment of Temujin's youth was his capture and enslavement by the Techudi clan, who saw him as a threat to their dominance. Temujin's escape from captivity, aided by a sympathetic guard, became a legend that further solidified his reputation as a resourceful and determined leader. His ability to inspire loyalty, even among those who owed him nothing, was a trait that would serve him well in the years to come. By the time Temujin reached his early 20s, he had begun to assemble a loyal following. His vision of unity and his ability to lead by example attracted warriors who were tired of the endless tribal conflicts. Unlike many leaders of his time, Temujin valued loyalty and merit over familial ties, a revolutionary approach that began to set him apart. Temujin's early life, shaped by loss, betrayal, and survival, laid the foundation for his rise to power. These formative experiences taught him the value of alliances, the necessity of strength, and the importance of adaptability. They also instilled in him a deep-seated ambition to create a legacy that would endure beyond the chaos of the steppe. This ambition would drive him to become not only a unifier of tribes, but also one of history's most influential leaders. The rise of Temujin from a marginalized tribal leader to Genghis Khan, the ruler of the Mongolian steppe, was a process of relentless ambition, strategic genius, and unwavering determination. The chaotic political landscape of 12th century Mongolia, dominated by warring tribes and shifting alliances, provided both opportunities and challenges for an aspiring leader like Temujin. His path to power was not linear, as it required overcoming formidable adversaries and uniting groups often at odds with one another. Temujin's initial focus was on consolidating his power base by forging alliances with influential tribes. One of his most critical early partnerships was with Togrul, the leader of the Kharit tribe, who acted as a mentor and protector. This alliance was instrumental in Temujin's ability to mobilize forces and secure support during conflicts. However, Temujin also understood that alliances based solely on personal loyalty or convenience were fragile. To address this, he emphasized a shared vision of unity among the Mongols, laying the ideological groundwork for a larger, more cohesive state. One of Temujin's most significant early victories came in his conflict with Jamukha, his former friend and ally. Initially united by a shared goal of Mongol unification, the two leaders eventually parted ways due to differing visions and ambitions. While Jamukha adhered to traditional aristocratic values, favoring established tribal elites, Temujin adopted a meritocratic approach, rewarding loyalty and skill regardless of birth. This difference became a central theme in their rivalry. The decisive clash between Temujin and Jamukha occurred in 1187, when Jamukha raised a large coalition to oppose Temujin. Despite being outnumbered, Temujin's disciplined forces used superior tactics and mobility to achieve key victories. However, the conflict also revealed the brutality that would characterize Temujin's campaigns. After capturing thousands of Jamukha's supporters, Temujin executed many of them in a gruesome manner, sending a clear message about the consequences of defiance. These actions, while harsh, established his reputation as a leader who could not be easily challenged. Temujin's rise was further aided by his ability to implement organizational reforms that transformed the Mongol tribes into a unified and effective force. He restructured the traditional clan-based system, organizing his followers into units of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000. This system, known as the decimal system, broke down tribal loyalties and fostered unity among his warriors. By placing trusted commanders at the head of these units, Temujin ensured that loyalty to him transcended tribal affiliations. Another key aspect of Temujin's success was his willingness to adopt new ideas and practices. Recognizing the importance of skilled administrators and advisors, he incorporated individuals from conquered tribes into his administration. He also encouraged the adoption of advanced weaponry and tactics, such as siege warfare techniques borrowed from the Chinese. These innovations gave him a distinct advantage over his rivals, who often relied on traditional methods of combat. The support of his loyal wife, Borte, also played a crucial role in Temujin's rise. Borte not only provided emotional stability, but also served as a political advisor. Her intelligence and diplomatic skills complemented Temujin's military acumen, helping him navigate the complex web of alliances and rivalries that defined Mongolian politics. Additionally, their union symbolized the importance of family ties and continuity in his vision of leadership. As Temujin's influence grew, he began to attract followers from beyond his immediate circle. Warriors from defeated tribes, disillusioned by their own leaders, joined him in search of opportunity and protection. Temujin's ability to inspire loyalty among diverse groups was a testament to his charisma and vision. He rewarded loyalty generously, distributing spoils of war among his followers and ensuring that they shared in his success. In 1206, after years of conflict and consolidation, Temujin achieved a remarkable feat: the unification of the Mongol tribes. At a grand Kurultai, or tribal council, he was proclaimed Genghis Khan, meaning universal ruler. This title marked the culmination of his efforts to create a united Mongol state and signaled the beginning of a new era in world history. The declaration of Genghis Khan as leader not only legitimized his rule, but also established a framework for the expansion of the Mongol Empire. The rise of Temujin to Genghis Khan was not merely the story of a military conqueror. It was the story of a visionary leader who transformed a fractured and volatile region into a unified and powerful entity. Through a combination of innovative leadership, ruthless determination, and an unyielding commitment to his goals, Genghis Khan laid the foundations for an empire that would stretch across continents and redefine the course of history. His rise to power demonstrated that unity, discipline, and adaptability could overcome even the most entrenched divisions, setting the stage for the Mongols to emerge as a global force. The rise of Genghis Khan as a global power was inseparable from the formidable military machine he created. The Mongol army was not merely a collection of skilled warriors. It was a revolutionary force that embodied discipline, adaptability, and innovation. By rethinking traditional methods of warfare and administration, Genghis Khan turned his relatively small and fragmented nation into an unstoppable juggernaut that would dominate much of the known world. Central to the Mongol army's effectiveness was its organization. Genghis Khan implemented the decimal system, dividing his forces into units of tens, arban, hundreds, zun, thousands, mingan, and tens of thousands, tuman. This structure not only ensured a clear chain of command, but also broke down traditional tribal loyalties. Soldiers from different clans were mixed within these units, creating a sense of unity and loyalty to the greater Mongol cause rather than individual tribes. This organizational reform transformed the Mongol tribes into a cohesive and disciplined military force. The Mongol army was also a meritocracy, a stark contrast to the aristocratic systems prevalent in many other societies. Promotions were based on ability and loyalty rather than noble birth. This approach ensured that talented individuals, regardless of their background, rose to positions of influence. Leaders such as Subutai and Jeeb, two of Genghis Khan's most brilliant generals, came from humble origins but proved their worth on the battlefield. By fostering a culture of merit, Genghis Khan created a leadership class that was both capable and deeply committed to his vision. Mobility and speed were hallmarks of the Mongol military strategy. Mongol warriors were expert horsemen, spending much of their lives in the saddle. Each soldier typically maintained multiple horses, allowing them to rotate mounts and travel great distances without exhausting their animals. This mobility enabled the Mongols to cover vast territories at an unprecedented pace, often taking their enemies by surprise. The use of mounted archers, who could shoot accurately even while galloping, further enhanced their tactical flexibility. Discipline was another cornerstone of the Mongol army's success. Harsh punishments for disobedience ensured that orders were followed without question. This discipline extended to the battlefield, where Mongol forces executed complex maneuvers with precision. One of their most effective tactics was the feigned retreat, in which the Mongols would simulate a rout to lure enemies into a vulnerable position before turning to attack. This strategy, combined with their speed and coordination, often led to decisive victories. Genghis Khan also emphasized intelligence and espionage in his military campaigns. The Mongols gathered extensive information about their enemies before launching an attack. Spies, scouts, and defectors provided valuable insights into enemy strengths, weaknesses, and terrain. This intelligence allowed the Mongols to tailor their strategies to each campaign, ensuring that they were always prepared for the challenges they faced. Logistics played a crucial role in sustaining the Mongol army's effectiveness. The Mongols mastered the art of living off the land, using local resources to feed their troops and horses. They also established a system of supply lines and relay stations, known as the Yam, which facilitated communication and the movement of goods across their vast territories. This logistical efficiency enabled the Mongols to maintain their momentum during prolonged campaigns, often outlasting their enemies. Psychological warfare was another key aspect of Mongol strategy. The Mongols cultivated a reputation for ruthlessness and invincibility, spreading fear among their enemies even before the first arrow was fired. Cities that resisted often faced brutal reprisals, including mass executions and the destruction of property. These tactics, while brutal, were highly effective in compelling other cities and regions to surrender without a fight. By fostering a climate of terror, the Mongols minimized resistance and conserved their resources. The adaptability of the Mongol army further set it apart. Genghis Khan and his generals were quick to adopt new technologies and techniques from conquered peoples. For instance, during their campaigns in China, the Mongols learned siege warfare, including the use of trebuchets and other siege engines. This knowledge enabled them to overcome the fortified cities of more advanced civilizations. The Mongols' ability to integrate foreign expertise into their strategies was a testament to their pragmatism and open-mindedness. Ultimately, the Mongol army's success was not merely the result of superior tactics or equipment. It was the product of a cohesive vision implemented by a leader who understood the importance of organization, loyalty, and innovation. Genghis Khan's military reforms and strategies turned the Mongols into one of the most effective fighting forces in history, capable of conquering vast territories and reshaping the political landscape of the medieval world. This revolutionary force would serve as the foundation for the expansion of the Mongol Empire, marking the beginning of a new chapter in global history. Genghis Khan's initial consolidation of power among the Mongolian tribes was only the beginning of his ambitious quest. His ultimate goal was the unification of the steppe under a single banner, a vision that would transform the fragmented and warring nomadic tribes into a cohesive and powerful entity. The conquest of the steppe was a monumental undertaking, requiring not only military prowess but also political acumen and a deep understanding of the cultural dynamics of the region. The Mongolian steppe in the late 12th century was a patchwork of rival tribes and alliances, each vying for dominance. The Tatars, Merkits, Naimans, and Karites were among the most prominent tribes, each with its own interests and rivalries. Genghis Khan recognized that uniting these tribes under a single authority would require a combination of military strength and strategic diplomacy. To achieve this, he relied on a mix of alliances, calculated betrayals, and outright conquest. One of Genghis Khan's first major targets was the Tatar tribe, who had long been a source of tension and conflict. The Tatars were notorious for their treachery, having poisoned Genghis Khan's father years earlier. The campaign against the Tatars was both personal and strategic, aimed at eliminating a key rival and avenging past grievances. After a series of battles, the Tatars were decisively defeated, and their population was integrated into the growing Mongol nation. Genghis Khan's treatment of the Tatars, executing adult males while sparing women and children, sent a clear message about the cost of resistance. Another significant challenge was the Merkit tribe, which had a history of enmity with Genghis Khan. The Merkits had kidnapped his wife, Borte, in an earlier episode that tested his leadership and resolve. The campaign against the Merkits showcased Genghis Khan's ability to form alliances, as he enlisted the support of the Karites and other tribes to launch a coordinated attack. The defeat of the Merkits not only secured Borte's release, but also demonstrated Genghis Khan's growing influence and military capabilities. The Karite tribe, led by Togrul, also known as Wang Khan, initially served as an ally to Genghis Khan. Togrul had been a mentor figure, providing support during Genghis Khan's early struggles. However, as Genghis Khan's power grew, tensions arose between the two leaders. Togrul's refusal to accept Genghis Khan's rising influence led to a breakdown in their alliance. The resulting conflict culminated in the defeat of the Karites, further solidifying Genghis Khan's dominance over the steppe. The Naimans, one of the most powerful and organized tribes in the region, presented a formidable challenge. Led by their charismatic leader Tayang Khan, the Naimans were well prepared for a confrontation with Genghis Khan. The campaign against the Naimans required careful planning and the full mobilization of the Mongol military. Despite the Naimans' strong defenses, Genghis Khan's superior tactics and disciplined forces ultimately prevailed. The victory over the Naimans marked a turning point, as it eliminated one of the last major threats to Mongol unification. Genghis Khan's conquests were not purely military. They also involved significant political and social reforms. To integrate the defeated tribes into his growing empire, he implemented policies that promoted loyalty and unity. By redistributing wealth, land, and resources, he ensured that the benefits of conquest were shared among his followers. This approach fostered a sense of collective identity among the Mongols, breaking down traditional tribal divisions and creating a unified nation. Religion played a surprisingly progressive role in Genghis Khan's vision for the steppe. While the Mongols themselves practiced a form of animism and shamanism, Genghis Khan promoted religious tolerance as a means of fostering unity among diverse groups. By allowing conquered peoples to retain their religious practices, he reduced resistance and encouraged cooperation. This policy of tolerance would later become a hallmark of the Mongol Empire. Another factor in Genghis Khan's success was his ability to leverage the strengths of his enemies. Skilled artisans, engineers, and administrators from defeated tribes were integrated into the Mongol administration and military. This pragmatic approach not only enriched Mongol society, but also enhanced its capacity for governance and warfare. By recognizing and utilizing the talents of his adversaries, Genghis Khan strengthened his empire while reducing the likelihood of rebellion. The conquest of the steppe culminated in 1206, when Genghis Khan was formally declared the leader of all Mongols at a grand Kurultai. This event marked the unification of the Mongol tribes into a single political and military entity. The steppe, once a battleground of rival clans and endless conflict, was now under the control of a single leader with a vision of expansion and greatness. This unification laid the foundation for the Mongol Empire's extraordinary conquests, transforming the once fractured steppe into a launching pad for global domination. The unification of the steppe was not merely a military achievement. It was a transformative moment in history. Genghis Khan's ability to overcome centuries of tribal division and forge a cohesive nation demonstrated his extraordinary leadership and vision. His success set the stage for the Mongols to emerge as a world power, reshaping the political, cultural, and economic landscapes of Eurasia. The conquest of the steppe was the first step in a journey that would take the Mongols far beyond their homeland, into the annals of world history. With the unification of the Mongolian steppe achieved by 1206, Genghis Khan turned his attention outward. His ambitions extended beyond consolidating power over the Mongols. He sought to expand his empire and bring neighboring civilizations under his control. This phase of conquest marked the transformation of the Mongols from a regional power into a global empire. The campaigns launched during this period showcased Genghis Khan's strategic brilliance, adaptability, and ability to integrate diverse peoples into his growing dominion. The first major target of Mongol expansion was the Xia Kingdom, located in the arid regions of northwestern China. The Xia rulers, who controlled vital trade routes and agricultural resources, were seen as a natural first step for Genghis Khan's ambitions. The campaign against the Xia began in 1209, with the Mongols leveraging their superior mobility and siege tactics to overwhelm the kingdom's defenses. Despite the challenges posed by the fortified cities and desert terrain, Genghis Khan's forces prevailed. The Xia submitted to Mongol rule, providing tribute and military support in exchange for relative autonomy. Following the Xia campaign, Genghis Khan set his sights on the Jin dynasty, which ruled northern China. The Jin dynasty was a powerful and wealthy state with a sophisticated bureaucracy and well-fortified cities. However, internal divisions and overconfidence left the Jin vulnerable. In 1211, Genghis Khan launched an invasion, using his tried-and-tested combination of mobility, psychological warfare, and strategic alliances. The Mongols swiftly defeated the Jin field armies and laid siege to key cities, employing Chinese engineers to construct siege weapons. By 1215, the Mongols had captured Zhengdu, modern-day Beijing, dealing a decisive blow to the Jin dynasty. The conquest of the Jin dynasty demonstrated Genghis Khan's ability to adapt to new forms of warfare. Unlike the steppe battles he was accustomed to, the campaign against the Jin required prolonged sieges and logistical coordination on an unprecedented scale. Genghis Khan's willingness to learn from his enemies and incorporate their technologies, such as siege engines and gunpowder, underscored his pragmatic approach to conquest. The victory over the Jin not only enriched the Mongol Empire, but also solidified Genghis Khan's reputation as a master strategist. As Genghis Khan expanded his empire in the east, he also turned his attention westward. The Khwarezmian Empire, a vast and prosperous state spanning modern-day Iran, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan, became his next target. Initially, Genghis Khan sought to establish diplomatic and trade relations with the Khwarezmian ruler, Shah Ala ad-Din Muhammad. However, the relationship quickly soured when a Mongol trade caravan was attacked, and its members were executed on the Shah's orders. Genghis Khan's demand for justice was met with defiance, prompting him to launch one of the most devastating campaigns of his career. The Mongol invasion of the Khwarezmian Empire in 1219 was a masterpiece of military strategy. Genghis Khan divided his forces into multiple contingents, each tasked with attacking different parts of the empire simultaneously. This strategy sowed confusion and prevented the Khwarezmian forces from mounting a coordinated defense. The Mongols employed scorched earth tactics, destroying cities and infrastructure to ensure the complete collapse of their enemy's power. Key cities such as Bokhara, Samarkand, and Nishapur fell to the Mongols, with their populations often subjected to brutal reprisals. The campaign against the Khwarezmian Empire revealed the dual nature of Genghis Khan's leadership: ruthless in war, but pragmatic in governance. While cities that resisted were destroyed, those that surrendered were often spared and integrated into the empire. Genghis Khan's ability to reward loyalty and punish defiance became a cornerstone of his rule. This approach ensured that conquered territories remained under control while deterring future rebellions. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Mongol expansion was its emphasis on integrating conquered peoples into the empire. Skilled artisans, engineers, and administrators from the Khwarezmian Empire were relocated to other parts of the Mongol realm, contributing to its cultural and economic development. The Mongols also established trade networks that linked the East and West, facilitating the exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies. This connectivity would later contribute to the prosperity of the Silk Road under Mongol rule. By the early 1220s, Genghis Khan's empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the Caspian Sea, encompassing a diverse array of cultures, religions, and languages. This vast territory was held together by a combination of military dominance, administrative efficiency, and a vision of unity that transcended tribal and ethnic divisions. Genghis Khan's insistence on meritocracy, religious tolerance, and legal reform helped create a sense of order and stability within his empire. The expansion beyond the steppe was a defining period in Genghis Khan's life and legacy. It demonstrated his ability to adapt to new challenges, whether they involved fortified cities, vast deserts, or complex political landscapes. The campaigns against the Xia, Jin dynasty, and Khwarezmian Empire showcased not only his military genius, but also his capacity for statesmanship. These conquests laid the foundation for the Mongol Empire's golden age, transforming it into one of the largest and most influential empires in human history. Through his vision and determination, Genghis Khan redefined the boundaries of what a nomadic leader could achieve, leaving an indelible mark on the world. As Genghis Khan's empire expanded across Asia, it became clear that military conquest alone was insufficient to maintain control over such a vast and diverse territory. Governing an empire that spanned deserts, mountains, cities, and steppe required an innovative and adaptable system of administration. Genghis Khan's success in this regard stemmed from his ability to blend traditional Mongolian practices with the best ideas he encountered from conquered peoples. The result was a governance system that was both efficient and remarkably progressive for its time. One of the cornerstones of Mongol governance was the Yasa, a legal code introduced by Genghis Khan. The Yasa was not a written document, but rather a collection of decrees and customs that emphasized loyalty, discipline, and justice. It applied to all subjects of the empire, regardless of their ethnic or religious background, creating a sense of unity under a common legal framework. The Yasa addressed a wide range of issues, including military discipline, theft, and family relations. Its strict enforcement helped maintain order across the sprawling empire. Meritocracy was another defining feature of Mongol governance. Genghis Khan valued competence over lineage, promoting individuals based on their skills and loyalty rather than their tribal or social origins. This principle extended beyond the military to the administration of the empire. Talented individuals from conquered territories, including Chinese, Persian, and Arab officials, were recruited into the Mongol bureaucracy. By drawing on the expertise of diverse peoples, Genghis Khan ensured that his empire benefited from the best administrative practices available. Religious tolerance was a hallmark of Mongol rule, reflecting Genghis Khan's pragmatic approach to governance. Recognizing the importance of religion in maintaining social order, he allowed his subjects to practice their faiths freely, whether they were Buddhists, Muslims, Christians, or adherents of other religions. Religious leaders were often exempted from taxes and granted special privileges, fostering goodwill among the empire's diverse populations. This policy of tolerance reduced resistance to Mongol rule and encouraged cooperation among conquered peoples. The Mongols also revolutionized communication and logistics within their empire. One of Genghis Khan's most significant innovations was the establishment of the yam, a sophisticated relay system of postal stations and way stations. These stations, located approximately 20 to 30 miles apart, allowed for the rapid transmission of messages, goods, and people across the empire. Couriers traveling along the yam could exchange horses and rest at the stations, enabling them to cover vast distances in record time. This communication network not only facilitated governance, but also strengthened trade and cultural exchange. Trade was a vital component of Mongol governance, as it tied the empire's far-flung regions together and ensured economic prosperity. Genghis Khan recognized the importance of securing trade routes and protecting merchants, who were granted safe passage throughout the empire. Under Mongol rule, the Silk Road reached new heights of activity, linking China, Central Asia, the Middle East, and Europe. The empire's commitment to trade created a vibrant flow of goods, ideas, and technologies, contributing to a period of unprecedented cultural and economic exchange. To maintain control over a vast and diverse population, Genghis Khan implemented policies that balanced central authority with local autonomy. While the Mongols maintained overall control, they allowed local leaders to govern their territories according to existing customs and traditions, provided they paid tribute and remained loyal. This decentralized approach minimized administrative costs and reduced the likelihood of rebellion. At the same time, Mongol governors and military officials ensured that central policies were enforced when necessary. Population management was another aspect of Mongol governance. The empire's vast resources and diverse populations were systematically organized to support its expansion and administration. Skilled artisans and craftsmen from conquered cities were often relocated to other parts of the empire, where their expertise could be put to use. Similarly, labor was mobilized for large-scale projects such as building roads, bridges, and fortifications. By redistributing human resources, the Mongols enhanced the productivity and cohesion of their empire. The role of women in Mongol governance was also significant, reflecting the relatively egalitarian nature of Mongol society. Women, particularly those from Genghis Khan's family, held important positions in both the administration and the military. Genghis Khan's daughters and daughters-in-law governed provinces, led troops, and participated in decision-making processes. This inclusivity not only empowered women, but also contributed to the stability and efficiency of the Mongol administration. Ultimately, the governance system established by Genghis Khan was a testament to his vision and adaptability. It demonstrated his understanding that an empire built on conquest alone could not endure. By fostering a sense of unity, leveraging the expertise of diverse peoples, and promoting trade and cultural exchange, Genghis Khan laid the foundations for an empire that would thrive long after his death. His administrative innovations, combined with his military conquests, solidified his legacy as one of history's most transformative leaders, reshaping the political and cultural landscape of Eurasia for centuries to come. The Mongol Empire, under Genghis Khan and his successors, left an indelible mark on the cultural and economic landscape of Eurasia. Spanning from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe, the empire became a conduit for the exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies, fostering an unprecedented era of interconnectedness. The cultural and economic legacy of the Mongols was both transformative and enduring, influencing societies across continents. One of the most significant contributions of the Mongol Empire was the revitalization of the Silk Road. Genghis Khan recognized the importance of trade for the prosperity of his empire and took steps to ensure the safety and efficiency of the trade routes. Merchants traveling along the Silk Road were granted protection, and the Mongols enforced strict laws to deter theft and violence. This created a stable environment for commerce, enabling the free flow of goods such as silk, spices, porcelain, and textiles. The Mongols' facilitation of trade strengthened economic ties between East and West, laying the groundwork for a global economy. The Mongols were not merely facilitators of trade, but also active participants. They established markets and encouraged the exchange of goods within their empire. The wealth generated from trade was reinvested in infrastructure, including roads, bridges, and way stations. This investment enhanced connectivity, making it easier for people and goods to move across the empire. The economic prosperity fostered by the Mongols had a ripple effect, benefiting not only the cities and regions under their control, but also neighboring states and empires. Cultural exchange flourished under Mongol rule, facilitated by the empire's policies of religious tolerance and inclusivity. Scholars, artists, and artisans from diverse cultures traveled across the empire, sharing their knowledge and skills. The Mongols themselves were eager learners, adopting technologies and practices from the peoples they conquered. Chinese gunpowder, Persian medical techniques, and Arabic mathematics were among the innovations that spread throughout the empire, enriching the cultural and intellectual life of its subjects. One of the most notable examples of cultural exchange was the Mongols' influence on art and architecture. In regions such as Persia and Central Asia, Mongol patronage led to the development of unique artistic styles that blended elements of Chinese, Persian, and Islamic traditions. Monumental structures such as mosques, palaces, and caravanserais were built, reflecting the empire's wealth and its leaders' ambition to leave a lasting legacy. These cultural achievements highlighted the Mongols' role as not just conquerors, but also contributors to the civilizations they ruled. The Mongol Empire also played a pivotal role in the transmission of ideas and knowledge. The movement of scholars and texts across the empire facilitated the spread of scientific and philosophical thought. For example, medical knowledge from the Islamic world made its way to China, while Chinese agricultural techniques influenced practices in the Middle East. This exchange of ideas fostered intellectual growth and innovation, bridging the gaps between cultures that had previously been isolated from one another. Religious exchange was another dimension of the Mongol Empire's cultural impact. The empire's policy of religious tolerance allowed for the coexistence of diverse faiths, including Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, and shamanism. Religious leaders often traveled within the empire, spreading their teachings and engaging in dialogue with adherents of other faiths. This environment of tolerance and interaction led to a greater understanding and appreciation of religious diversity, influencing the spiritual landscape of Eurasia. While the Mongols are often remembered for their military conquests, their contributions to governance and administration had a lasting economic impact. The use of standardized weights and measures, as well as the introduction of paper currency in some regions, facilitated trade and commerce. The Mongols' emphasis on meritocracy and efficiency in administration ensured that resources were allocated effectively, promoting economic stability and growth. However, the cultural and economic impact of the Mongol Empire was not without challenges. The rapid movement of people and goods across the empire also facilitated the spread of diseases, most notably the Black Death. The pandemic, which swept through Eurasia in the mid-14th century, had devastating consequences for populations and economies. Despite this, the interconnectedness fostered by the Mongols ultimately contributed to the resilience and recovery of affected regions. The cultural and economic legacy of the Mongol Empire endures to this day. The bridges it built between East and West laid the foundation for the age of exploration and the rise of global trade. The exchange of ideas and technologies catalyzed developments in science, art, and governance, shaping the trajectory of human history. Genghis Khan's vision of a unified and interconnected world was realized not only through military conquest, but also through the vibrant cultural and economic exchanges that defined his empire. The Mongols' impact was a testament to the power of connection. demonstrating how the integration of diverse peoples and ideas can drive progress and innovation. As the Mongol Empire reached unprecedented heights during Genghis Khan's lifetime, the question of succession loomed large. How would such a vast and diverse empire endure without its founder? Genghis Khan, aware of the challenges his death might bring, took steps to ensure the continuity of his vision. The policies he implemented, the leaders he groomed, and the mechanisms he established for power transition would define his empire's future. This chapter explores the legacy of Genghis Khan, focusing on his preparations for succession and the empire's resilience after his death. Genghis Khan's understanding of leadership was deeply rooted in meritocracy and loyalty, principles he applied to the issue of succession. Unlike many rulers of his time, he did not designate a single heir without consultation. Instead, he summoned a Kurultai, or assembly of tribal leaders, to discuss the matter. This inclusive approach reflected his belief in consensus and the importance of maintaining unity among the Mongols. The Kurultai selected Genghis Khan's third son, Ogdi, as a successor, recognizing his administrative acumen and diplomatic skills. Ogdi's selection was not arbitrary. Genghis Khan had carefully prepared his sons and trusted generals for leadership roles, delegating responsibilities and testing their abilities during his lifetime. Each son was given control over a specific region of the empire, allowing them to gain experience in governance and military command. By the time of his death, Genghis Khan had cultivated a cadre of capable leaders who could uphold his vision and maintain the empire's stability. Another aspect of Genghis Khan's preparation for succession was the establishment of clear administrative and military structures. He divided the empire into 4 ulus, territorial divisions, each governed by one of his sons or trusted lieutenants. This decentralized system allowed for efficient governance while maintaining a unified command under the Great Khan, the supreme ruler of the Mongol Empire. By balancing regional autonomy with centralized authority, Genghis Khan created a governance model that could endure the challenges of succession. Genghis Khan's legal and cultural policies also contributed to the empire's cohesion after his death. The Yasa, his codified set of laws, served as a unifying force, providing a common framework for justice and governance. Additionally, his emphasis on religious tolerance, meritocracy, and trade fostered loyalty among diverse populations. These principles not only strengthened the empire during his lifetime, but also provided a foundation for its continued success under his successors. When Genghis Khan died in 1227, the transition of power was relatively smooth, a testament to his foresight and preparation. Ogdi Khan assumed leadership and continued his father's legacy of expansion and innovation. Under Ogdi's rule, the Mongol Empire reached new heights, conquering additional territories in China, the Middle East, and Europe. The systems established by Genghis Khan enabled Ogdi to govern effectively, demonstrating the resilience of the empire's structure. Despite this initial stability, challenges to Mongol unity emerged over time. The decentralized nature of the Ulu system, while effective in the short term, eventually led to fragmentation. As Genghis Khan's descendants vied for power and influence, the empire began to splinter into distinct khanates, such as the Yuan dynasty in China, the Ilkhanate in Persia, the Chagatai Khanate in Central Asia, and the Golden Horde in Eastern Europe. This fragmentation highlighted the difficulty of maintaining a vast, multi-ethnic empire across generations. Nevertheless, the legacy of Genghis Khan endured through the continued influence of the Mongol Empire. His emphasis on trade, communication, and cultural exchange created a lasting impact on the regions under Mongol rule. The stability and prosperity brought by the Mongols facilitated the spread of ideas, technologies, and religions, shaping the development of civilizations from Europe to Asia. Even as the empire fragmented, the networks and institutions established by Genghis Khan remained influential. The memory of Genghis Khan himself became a powerful symbol of leadership and unity. Among the Mongols, he was revered as the eternal blue skies chosen ruler, a figure whose vision and determination transformed the destiny of his people. Beyond Mongolia, Genghis Khan was both admired and feared, embodying the duality of conqueror and statesman. His legacy inspired leaders, scholars, and artists for centuries, shaping perceptions of power and ambition. In examining Genghis Khan's legacy, it becomes clear that his greatest achievement was not merely the conquests he led, but the systems he created to sustain them. His ability to unite disparate tribes, integrate diverse cultures, and establish enduring institutions ensured that his empire would outlive him. Though the Mongol Empire eventually fragmented, its influence on global history is undeniable. Genghis Khan's vision of a connected and dynamic world reshaped the course of civilizations, leaving a legacy that continues to resonate across time and space. Despite the remarkable achievements of the Mongol Empire under Genghis Khan and his immediate successors, the empire eventually entered a period of decline. This decline was neither swift nor singular in cause. It was the result of various internal and external factors that accumulated over time. The fragmentation of the empire, political struggles, and the challenges of governing such a vast and culturally diverse realm contributed to its eventual dissolution. This chapter explores the multifaceted reasons behind the decline and fall of the Mongol Empire, examining the political, economic, and social factors that led to its weakening. One of the primary factors in the decline of the Mongol Empire was the fragmentation of its territory following the death of Genghis Khan. As mentioned earlier, Genghis Khan had divided the empire into 4 ulus, which were ruled by his sons or trusted generals. While this decentralized system allowed for efficient governance during the early years of Mongol rule, it also sowed the seeds for future conflict. The division of the empire into distinct khanates, each with its own ruler, created rivalries among Genghis Khan's descendants. These rivalries often led to infighting, weakening the unity of the Mongol Empire and hindering effective governance. The rivalry between the khanates became particularly pronounced after the death of Genghis Khan, Genghis Khan's chosen successor. While Genghis' rule had been marked by expansion and prosperity, his successor struggled to maintain the empire's unity. The lack of a strong central authority led to power struggles, as the rulers of the different khanates sought to expand their influence. This fracturing of authority diluted the strength of the Mongol state and made it increasingly difficult to manage the empire's vast territories. Another contributing factor to the decline of the Mongol Empire was the difficulty of governing such a diverse and expansive realm. Genghis Khan had established a highly effective system of governance based on merit, loyalty, and religious tolerance. But over time, the complexity of administering an empire that spanned across Asia, Europe, and the Middle East became overwhelming. The Mongol rulers faced the challenge of balancing central authority with the autonomy of local leaders. In some regions, the Mongols faced resistance from indigenous populations who were reluctant to accept foreign rule. In other areas, local elites became more powerful, further eroding the central authority of the Mongol Khans. Economically, the Mongol Empire also faced significant challenges. While trade had flourished under Genghis Khan and his successors, the empire's vast size and geographical diversity made it difficult to maintain economic cohesion. The empire's reliance on a tribute-based economy, where local rulers paid tribute to the Mongol Khans in exchange for autonomy, began to weaken as regional economies grew more independent. Additionally, the Silk Road, once a bustling trade route under Mongol protection, began to lose its prominence due to the rise of alternative maritime trade routes. The decline in trade, coupled with the challenges of maintaining a complex administrative system, led to economic stagnation in some parts of the empire. The Mongol Empire also faced external threats that contributed to its downfall. In the West, the expansion of the Russian principalities and the rise of the Ottoman Empire challenged the Mongols' hold over Eastern Europe. The Golden Horde, one of the major Mongol khanates in the region, suffered from internal strife and external invasions, which weakened its power. In the East, the rise of the Ming dynasty in China marked the end of Mongol rule in the region. The Mongols were eventually driven out of China in 1368, signaling the collapse of the Yuan dynasty, the Mongol Khanate that ruled China. These external pressures, combined with internal divisions, further fragmented the empire. Socially, the Mongol Empire also faced significant challenges. While Genghis Khan's policies of religious tolerance and cultural integration had helped unify his empire. The Mongols' nomadic origins often made it difficult for them to effectively govern settled agricultural societies. Over time, many Mongol rulers adopted the customs and practices of the regions they ruled, leading to a gradual loss of their distinct Mongol identity. This cultural assimilation, while beneficial in some ways, also eroded the unity that had characterized the Mongol Empire under Genghis Khan. Additionally, the Mongols' reliance on military conquest to maintain control over their empire began to falter. As the empire expanded, the Mongols encountered increasingly sophisticated and well-organized states that posed a greater challenge to their military prowess. The Mongols' once unbeatable cavalry faced formidable resistance from the armies of the Russian principalities, the Ottoman Empire, and the Chinese. The technological advancements of these states, such as gunpowder and advanced siege tactics, made it more difficult for the Mongols to maintain their military dominance. The Mongol Empire's decline was also marked by the gradual loss of cohesion among its ruling elite. The descendants of Genghis Khan, once united in their desire to expand and maintain the empire, began to prioritize their own personal ambitions over the unity of the empire. This shift in priorities, coupled with the difficulty of managing such a vast and diverse empire, led to the eventual fragmentation of Mongol rule. The Mongol Khans, who had once been seen as a symbol of unity and strength, became increasingly isolated from the populations they ruled. By the end of the 14th century, the Mongol Empire had effectively fragmented into several smaller khanates, each with its own ruler and ambitions. The collapse of the empire was a gradual process, marked by a combination of internal decay and external pressures. While the Mongol Empire was no longer the unified force it had been under Genghis Khan, its legacy lived on in the regions it had once ruled. The cultural, economic, and political systems established by the Mongols continued to influence the course of history, and the memory of Genghis Khan as a unifying force remained strong among the Mongols and their subjects. The decline and fall of the Mongol Empire serves as a reminder of the challenges inherent in maintaining a vast, multi-ethnic empire. While Genghis Khan's conquests and innovations laid the foundation for an extraordinary empire, the forces of fragmentation, resistance, and internal divisions eventually led to its disintegration. Nevertheless, the impact of the Mongols on global history cannot be overstated. Their contributions to trade, culture, governance, and military strategy shaped the trajectory of civilizations across Eurasia and beyond, leaving a lasting legacy that transcended the empire's decline. Genghis Khan, a figure once considered a mere conqueror, has grown into a symbol of unparalleled military genius, visionary leadership, and transformative global influence. Although his empire ultimately fragmented and his direct descendants lost much of their unified power, the legacy of Genghis Khan has endured through the centuries. The impact of his conquests, governance, and cultural exchanges has continued to shape the world in profound ways. This chapter will explore the enduring influence of Genghis Khan, considering his lasting contributions to geopolitics, economics, culture, and the collective memory of humanity. Genghis Khan's military strategies and innovations in warfare continue to be studied and admired. His ability to organize and lead one of the most efficient and disciplined fighting forces in history laid the groundwork for modern military tactics. The Mongol army's use of mobility, psychological warfare, and advanced siege techniques reshaped the nature of warfare across Asia and Europe. Even today, military strategists and historians examine Genghis Khan's campaigns to understand the principles of surprise, speed, and adaptability. His army, composed largely of highly skilled cavalry, introduced a level of flexibility and coordination that became a model for future military forces. Politically, Genghis Khan's contributions to governance left a lasting legacy, particularly in the areas of legal reform and statecraft. The Yasa, the legal code he implemented, was one of the first attempts at establishing a uniform set of laws across a vast and diverse empire. The principles of meritocracy, religious tolerance, and centralized control in the Yasa influenced subsequent political systems, particularly in Asia. The Mongol approach to governance, which integrated aspects of local customs with centralized Mongol rule, paved the way for the formation of other empires, such as the Russian and Ottoman empires, which drew upon Mongol administrative practices. The Mongols' role as catalysts for cultural exchange cannot be overstated. Under Genghis Khan's reign, the Mongol Empire facilitated the movement of people, goods, and ideas across vast distances. The Pax Mongolica, or Mongol peace, created an environment in which trade flourished, particularly along the Silk Road. Goods, technologies, and knowledge from the East and West moved freely across the empire, contributing to the intellectual, artistic, and technological advancements of the time. Genghis Khan's legacy as a promoter of cross-cultural dialogue is evident in the diverse influences on art, science, and philosophy that emerged during the Mongol era. One of the most significant examples of the Mongols' cultural impact was their role in spreading technologies such as gunpowder, paper, and printing. The Mongols facilitated the transfer of these innovations from China to the Middle East and Europe, where they would have profound effects on the course of history. Gunpowder, in particular, revolutionized warfare and had a lasting impact on the development of firearms and artillery. The introduction of paper and printing techniques also transformed communication, enabling the spread of knowledge and the mass production of books, which contributed to the rise of literacy and the scientific revolution in Europe. The Mongols also played a key role in shaping global trade networks. The Silk Road, which had existed for centuries before Genghis Khan's rise, reached its peak during the Mongol Empire. The stability and security provided by the Mongols allowed merchants from China, India, Persia, and Europe to travel freely, bringing goods and ideas into contact with each other. The economic prosperity generated by this interconnectedness fostered the growth of cities, the emergence of global markets, and the exchange of resources that laid the foundations for the modern world economy. Genghis Khan's influence is not limited to the political and economic spheres. His cultural impact extended to the arts, with the Mongol Empire serving as a crossroads for various artistic traditions. Under Mongol patronage, Persian, Chinese, and Central Asian artistic styles merged, creating distinctive works of art that reflected the diversity of the empire. The construction of monumental architecture, such as mosques, palaces, and caravanserais, left a lasting mark on the architectural landscape of the regions the Mongols controlled. These cultural contributions continue to be admired for their beauty and historical significance. Even after the fall of the Mongol Empire, Genghis Khan's legacy endured in the collective memory of the peoples he conquered. In Mongolia, Genghis Khan is revered as a national hero and a symbol of unity and strength. His image has been used throughout history to inspire pride and national identity, particularly during periods of political and social upheaval. His memory has also played a role in shaping the identity of the modern Mongolian state, which looks to his achievements as a source of national pride. Outside of Mongolia, the figure of Genghis Khan has taken on a more complex and multifaceted character. In the West, he has often been portrayed as a ruthless and bloodthirsty conqueror, while in the East, he is seen as a figure of cultural integration and progress. The contrasting portrayals of Genghis Khan reflect the diverse ways in which different cultures interpret his legacy. Despite the varying perceptions, it is clear that Genghis Khan's influence on world history transcends regional boundaries. In the modern era, Genghis Khan's legacy has continued to inspire political leaders, writers, and scholars. His vision of a connected world and his ability to unite diverse peoples under a single banner are often invoked in discussions of globalization and international relations. Some contemporary leaders have even drawn parallels between their own ambitions and Genghis Khan's achievements, seeing him as a model of strength, leadership, and vision. His story remains a powerful reminder of the potential for one individual to shape the course of history in profound ways. In conclusion, the enduring influence of Genghis Khan is a testament to his extraordinary vision, leadership, and impact on the world. His military genius, political innovations, cultural contributions, and global vision reshaped the course of history and left a lasting legacy that continues to be felt across the globe. Whether in the study of warfare, the development of trade, or the promotion of cultural exchange, Genghis Khan's influence is unmistakable. His life and empire remind us of the power of vision and determination in shaping the future, and his legacy remains a touchstone for understanding the forces that have shaped the modern world.